let's just start from the beginning. What in the heck is OhioRise?
OhioRise is the next generation of managed care here in Ohio. The state recognized a while ago that youth and their families who have a lot of multi-systemic needs needed a different kind of care coordination. So OhioRise is, I'm sorry.
I'm going to back you up and say what's
Okay.
managed care and
Oh, okay, well
and
then maybe I should just
systemic.
drop that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I really, yeah, and I assume I even know a little bit more than the person watching the news would know. But, so, yeah, let's start with, what is OhioRise?
Sure. OhioRise is actually an acronym. It means Ohio Resiliency through Integrated Service Excellence. It is a program that was developed at the state level by a cooperative group between providers like OhioGuidestone, the Department of Medicaid, and the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services to address the needs of youth and their families who have multi-systemic needs. And by multi-systemic needs, what I'm referring to is involvement not only with behavioral health providers like OhioGuidestone, but perhaps the juvenile justice and the adult justice system, perhaps family and children first councils, certainly the educational system, child welfare. We needed a better way with evidence-based care to coordinate services to get better outcomes for these families.
So when OhioGuidestone, when the state chose Ohio, is that a big deal? Like how does that work?
Well, it is a big deal for us. It's recognition of our expertise with high fidelity wraparound care. OhioGuidestone, this isn't anything new for us. We have been providing this care under contract for the last 5 years. What's different now is the state has recognized that there are providers throughout the state who have that level of expertise to provide it in a designated area. The state awarded only 18 organizations like OhioGuidestone the contract to provide it, and we're really thrilled to be able to do that here in Cuyahoga County.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Screwed that one up.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's great. But can you describe? Are you okay?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, you
Okay. What is a complex behavioral issue?
Sure.
Yeah.
So youth and their families who are eligible for OhioRise services might present with a multitude of behavioral health, emotional needs, developmental needs. The youth, the index youth for this program might be involved with the Board of Developmental Disabilities, with a cognitive or a developmental challenge. They may be really struggling in the educational system with both their behavior and their ability to learn successfully. Their families may be struggling with not only mental health and substance use challenges, for example, but they also may have needs relative to basic needs, housing and transportation and employment. So OhioRise is an approach to surround this family with some pretty intensive coordination of all those providers so that everybody's pulling in the same direction.
And from the OhioGuidestone standpoint, so we are going to be hiring some people, right?
We need a lot of people to provide this service. We're very privileged to offer training for this position through the Center of Excellence for Child and Adolescent Behavior at Case Western Reserve University. In many of our positions, we are looking for licensed providers or people with experience in mental health. In this particular case, we are looking for people with experience working and coordinating teams of people. They don't necessarily need a license to do the job.
So OhioGuidestone will be the coordinator, not the provider. Is that or
We will be the entity that will be convening these planning meetings with an evidence-based set of tools and resources to really elevate family voice and choice. That's a key component of high-fidelity wraparound services, and it will allow all of these entities to understand the family needs from their own voice.
So can you give me like a fictitious case where a person, before this, how his life or her is versus after? Like if we, I don't want to say a name because it could be a name, I don't know, but a person or a youth.
Sure. Yeah. Imagine a situation where you have a young person who is dealing with perhaps issues of trauma, perhaps issues of behavioral health symptom management, perhaps they're also dealing with substance use and abuse challenges. If that person is also involved with juvenile probation because their behaviors have brought them in contact with the justice system, if their particular challenges and their family's challenges have brought them to the care of child welfare, if you can imagine this family also having a number of basic care needs, trying to negotiate all those different systems, individual systems that are trying to achieve outcomes that are relevant to their area of care. Often these youth and their families are buffeted between systems with competing demands and needs, and often what they're looking for is a single advocate, a single provider that will bring all of these entities together, unite them in a single care plan, offer them some crisis management support so that in a very short period of time, 12 to 18 months, not only have they addressed the immediate needs that they're dealing with, but they've built some connections to their natural supports. They've enlarged their community connection. Maybe it's through a place of worship, maybe it's through a local community affiliation, maybe it's through just building connections with those people that are in their day-to-day lives so that following their time with OhioRise, they have the tools and skills that they need to be successful and deal with any other challenges that present for the rest of their lives.
And as far as the money to provide the services on OhioGuidestone's end, how many, let's start with the kids. Like how many children do you think will be able to help in Cuyahoga County?
OhioGuidestone was asked to be prepared to serve 2,400 children in the Cuyahoga County area with care coordination services, and we're ready to do that.
And where do you see, this is just the beginning, so do you think this will be continuing on through this partnership or with OhioRise and OhioGuidestone?
Absolutely, because the state and Aetna are prepared to invest in examining the outcomes and building the case for the need for this service over the long term. So I believe with the outcomes that we'll be producing, this service will be around for a long time.
And if somebody wants to recommend a child, or is there a procedure they need to go through?
Yeah, this isn't going to be a good answer at this point because we don't have our single toll-free answer at this point.
Okay,
I wish to God I had it for you right now, but we don't have
but
it.
we'll save that for, it can always come up later. And then, on the job end, do we have an estimate of how many jobs will OhioGuidestone, or how many openings will we, like, do we have a number for what we're looking for?
OhioGuidestone is planning on adding at least 100 staff to our current roster of service providers in order to do this service.
And if I'm somebody who wants to do this, to become, I guess, a care coordinator, right?
We want to hear from you. Please go to www.ohioguidestone.org, look for our employment opportunities, and apply. We'd love to talk to you.
What would be an ideal care coordinator in your mind? Like, who would be, what kind of skills?
People who, in the course of their job, have had reason to convene groups of people together to meet a client's need. So for example, if somebody was working for a child care center and it was their job as a family liaison to meet with the family and build a team around their needs, that's certainly somebody we would be interested in speaking with.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's kind of a weak one, but that's pretty good.
No, I like it. Okay, just want to make sure I covered all bases. Oh, I wanted to touch on the family. So,
Oh, okay.
in the previous scenario, I'm assuming that for the whole family surrounding, I have special needs kids within my family, and this is not an island, like, someone needs to take them here, someone needs to, I totally get that. How will this help families that are dealing with that, you've got this appointment, that appointment, who's gonna take them, how are we gonna get there? And will this be something that OhioRise can help?
Absolutely. When we convene a child and family planning meeting, we're inviting the family to bring those people to the table that they consider their resources, or that they would like to build a stronger place for them in their family need management. If there is a coach, if there is a godparent, if there is a neighbor that the family has identified as somebody who could meet their needs, we want to support the family's ability to bring those people to the table so that we can build them into a plan that weaves both formal supports and informal supports, and also looks at what any of those challenges would be. Maybe there's somebody who might be able to provide some transportation, but they might need some help with gas money, or somebody who might be able to offer some support in terms of mentorship or direction providing. We need to have them to the table to find out what it is they need so that they can provide those help. So that they can provide that
Yeah, do you want
provide that assistance to the family.
Yeah, do you want to answer? Because I like what you said.
Yeah.
So it's like a team approach? Like you're creating this team around this one?
We are working with the family and their formal support systems, as well as their natural support systems, to come together and move together in the client's journey toward wellness, toward resolving some of their needs, and building a sense of team moving forward, so that we've got a group of people together to address any challenges that come up and that can celebrate any accomplishments that happen along the way.
Who would be an example of like a natural support person?
Well, part of what OhioRise Care Coordination will discuss with the family is sometimes building those bridges for the first time. Maybe a family has a culture, or perhaps a family has a cultural connection to a faith institution, but they haven't been there for a while. We'll support them in making those natural connections. Maybe there's a family history with a group such as the Kiwanis, and maybe that's something that we can facilitate a new or a reconnection to. If the family identifies specific needs in the community, we can identify those resources and bring them to the table so that, this isn't right. What it does is it coordinates this care and allows families to identify who they want at the table so that they can build a planning team.